piano.
Hi guys. I wanted to do just kind of like a part 2 to our birthing video that we posted. I had forgotten a couple points. I talked so much in that video, but there was still a couple things that I remembered later on that I wanted to add to it. And the first thing was I didn't address in the video whether Ava was there or not for the birth. And she was able to be there. We didn't have like any restriction of whether she could be there or not. But she was there. I mean, she was with us the whole time, but she ended up falling asleep because I started laboring, around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and then she stayed up until midnight with us. She was in the birthing pool with me for a little bit, and then she ended up falling asleep, and then she didn't wake up until, because I had him at 8 o'clock the next morning, and she woke up actually when she heard him crying when he was born then. So she got up right away when she heard him crying, and then she came over. In the moment, we didn't even think to, wake her up or go get her or anything like that, because I wasn't even, it happened kind of fast. When the pushing started, I didn't even think at that point that it was going to happen that fast. So we just didn't even think. That's why we didn't get any pictures. We only got one picture after he was born. So, but we feel that it's really important that she was able to be there and experience it if she wanted to. We really, there's nothing to hide about it. It's something that's completely natural, and it wasn't, it felt right having her there. Seeing me go through that, we had watched quite a few YouTube videos on home births and stuff like that, so she knew, everybody labors differently. Some women scream, a lot of women moan with a natural childbirth, just different coping techniques. And so she kept saying that she never wanted to have a baby because it was going to hurt so bad. That's what she kept telling me. And I think her seeing me, I kept telling her, it's just how you perceive the pain, if you want to call it that.
It's not even how you perceive the pain, it's how you perceive that information, energy that's being given to you.
Right, because that's all it is. So her seeing me go through the contractions, and it just gave her a better understanding of, birthing, and her seeing that it is something that's very natural in, for our bodies to have a baby in that way. So I think and then her hearing that I would do it again, I think that helped too, because then she said she wasn't as scared, but obviously that's her choice when she's much older, if she wants to have kids or not. But we really did want her to be present there and be able to come and go as she wanted to, and, just experience the whole thing really. And then the second thing I wanted to add was that I did not tear at all, which I didn't say in the video before. That was something that I was actually really nervous about. Not nervous, but I thought about it a lot. I really did not want to tear because I knew that would require stitches, if the tear was big enough, obviously. So what I was reading was a lot of women said that if they, one of the reasons why women tear is because they're pushing. Because they're being told to push when their bodies are not ready to push the baby out. So women say that when they're listening to their bodies and just going with it, and when their body is ready to push, then they just let their body push the baby out. So when I was in the bathtub, I could feel, that my body was starting to push. I was not pushing. It just started like pushing him out, by itself. Him and my body were working together. So I just got in the position that I felt most comfortable to get ready to, you know, let my body push him the rest of the way out. And at the time, it definitely felt like I was tearing because it was just like, you know, pushing this big baby out of me. But I didn't tear at all. And when I went, because I had to go to the hospital to get the placenta out, and she was just so sure that I tore, and she checked me 3 times down, you know, like down there in the area, because she was just kind of not amazed, but she was very surprised that I did not tear at all, because I didn't, you know, have like the medical supervision, and I wasn't in the hospital and things like that. But I really did just listen to my body. I didn't time my contractions. I didn't check to see how dilated I was. I just, you know, just labored how my body wanted to, and I was just letting my body and him work together, and it really, really worked out. I mean, I was sore down there, but it wasn't like, I didn't tear at all. So I was really grateful for that I really got in tune with the flow of everything and just how everything was happening, so that, you know, I could let things happen naturally the way that they should, and I wasn't forcing anything. I think that was really important, that I wasn't just, I wanted him out, I wanted the contractions to stop, but I knew that I just had to keep going with it, and that eventually he was going to come out when he was ready and not when I wanted him out. Because if it was up to me, you know, I wouldn't have gone through hours of the contractions, but that's obviously how, in that situation, it needed to happen for him to come out.
Your body actually prepares your vagina for the baby to come out, because it's sort of like loading a gun. It shoots it out somewhat and brings it back in, and then it shoots it out farther and brings it back in. It's to stretch it out so that it doesn't just all come out at once and stretch it all out at once, which is when the tearing happens. That's why it happens when you push, because it doesn't have the opportunity to stretch that extra amount that it needs before the baby comes out.
Right, because in our other video, like I said, his head actually did that 3 times, and I didn't even know really that it was supposed to happen that way. I was talking to my mom later, and I told her, you know, like, his head came out, went back in, came out, went back in, you know, and she's like, she told me, because my sister just had a baby 6 months before I had him, and she had him in a hospital, and the doctor had told her that is what's supposed to happen. That's normal, because it's your, you know, body getting ready to push him out, or the baby out, not him. Just push the baby out. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I wanted to add. That I think it's just really important to listen to your body.
Yeah, you know, there's so much, especially in our world full of misinformation, there's so much that is tried to be, there's so much that is tried to be given to you when you get pregnant or you plan on having a baby, that you need to prepare and know all of this stuff that's going to happen. Stop it. And I lost my train of thought. You need all of this information to be able to just do something as simple as just having a baby. Well, and if you look at nature, just look at the animals, which is a great thing to look at to see how we should naturally be behaving with things, because animals do things as they actually are, not as they were told that they were. So an animal gets pregnant, it doesn't go and start reading books on how to have a baby. It just listens to its body. It does what it knows that it needs to do, and then when it knows it's going to have the baby, it has the baby. Things don't just creep up on you. Like, you're not 1 second going to say, oh my God, I just need to have this baby now. There's a whole experience that you go through, that if you're consciously paying attention throughout that entire experience, you're going to learn way more than you can from any book ever. And you're going to know exactly what you need to do to birth the correct way and bring the child into this world in the most wholesome way possible.
Right. With that being said, I did read a lot of books on natural childbirth and things like that. But I think that I felt the need to read because of everything that we're misinformed with from the beginning. So if I was never told that this is the way we're supposed to birth and you need to do this, 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 and this, I wouldn't feel the need to look up, natural childbirthing, because obviously that would just be natural to me. I would just know what to do in that moment. I wouldn't feel the need to, go out and gather all this information about something that is natural. I think next time when we have our next one, I won't be looking for information like I did with him. It was just such a different experience from when we went through the birth with Ava, that I just, wanted to read things about, tearing and like ways to not tear and stuff like that. So I am grateful of the information that I got. I'm also, I'm grateful for the whole experience. I learned a lot. But like I said, it was also, I listened too much to outside sources of, being scared that I was going to hemorrhage and things like that. And that ended up not harming the experience, but it didn't come out.
It altered it.
It altered it in a way that we didn't plan. But obviously everything happens for a reason, and we learn from everything. So I definitely learned from this experience, and now our next one can be the way that hopefully we want it, like with the lotus birth and stuff like that, is really what I'm referring to.
Yeah, the way I see it is leave everything for however long it takes for the baby to develop and be born, and stay off computers, stay off of electronics in general. Just stay in nature, stay as connected to your family as possible, and to nature, and not to the world that's going around, because that's not what's important. When you bring a child into this world, that's bringing a soul, a spirit into this world, and it's there's a lot of transformation that goes on during them. And Ava, stop. And to focus your energy on stuff in this world doesn't help the baby develop or anything, because it's not coming from this world. It's literally coming from a whole different plane of existence than the physical plane that we're all present in right now.
Yes. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to add, was just to just like listen to your body, go with the flow of things. Next time I will spend less time, because I was very paying attention to my due date, and I don't think that helped at all, because even if I was prepared to go over, all of our family knew that I was due on November 8th. So that's the day that they were all waiting for. So when that day came and went, then it was like, well, when are you going to get induced? How long are you going to go before you go get induced? And I had to keep saying, I'm not getting induced. I'm waiting. He's not ready yet.
Which the best thing to do would be to not even prepare for any of that, because when you prepare for going over your due date, you're still setting a mental note that you have a due date, and whether you say it's okay that I go over or not, there's still going to be something that's pushing you towards that due date, just because you said it, and just the words that you use, the due date. It's putting a magic spell on your consciousness, and you're going to, in some form, at least subconsciously in your dreams, bring that forth to that you're past your due date and there's something going on, or just bring it to your awareness.
Yeah, because even though I was, like he said, I prepared myself. I knew that I could either go early or go late because the due date is just an estimate, and I knew that the baby would come when it was ready. But I still, as soon as my due date came, then it was like, okay, well, I knew that this might happen. So then a few days went by, and then I'm like, okay, why isn't he here yet? I thought that I was going to go early, and now here I am, like, going late. And then, like, a week went by, and so then I was getting, like, really anxious. Like, I did start, I was, like, checking the heartbeat so much because I'm like, why isn't he coming out yet? When I really just needed to relax, because as soon as I did that, then he came.
When you just don't get a due date at all, you never have to worry about any of that.
Right. And I actually went to, I was going to, like, a pregnancy meditation group, and one of the girls in there she had, I think it was her 4th or 5th child, and she was planning an unassisted. I guess you don't really plan an unassisted childbirth, but that's what they wanted to do. And we went around and we were all saying our due dates, and when it came to her, she was like, well, I don't even really know. She's like, maybe I'll go in October, maybe November, because she literally had not tracked anything. She was just, she was pretty much just saying, like what Korey was saying, that she was just going, like, with whatever. She wasn't tracking anything. She wasn't, she didn't have any testing done or anything like that. So I think that's pretty cool. But, at that point, I had my due date and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to add on to the first one that we did. Thanks for watching.